Hello Maya Katha. Hello Meera. Hello everybody. Today it's my turn to read a story. I'm Nandita Dey and I thought I would choose a fairy tale for you because it makes us happy however old we become. And recently we had the super moon, and what better fairy tale to say than that of a moon. Whether in Greek or Roman or Indian literature, we've always idolized the moon. So this is the Windhover collection. I'm reading out a book from a book which is a present from the governor of Nagaland to my husband. And this lady, I don't know if it's a lady or a gentleman, Easterin Iralu, teaches at the Department of English, Nagaland University. It's a lady. One of her stories, The Silver Zilli, was placed in Asia Week's list of 50 best stories, 1982. Her writings have been also published in the Indian Express, Chatterbox and New Frontiers. So I'm reading out a small story, a fairy tale, which I thought everyone will enjoy, the young girls, the big girls, the boys. I think it's a sweet story. A story for my daughter. The moon, you can see, this is the moon. Small little motif at the right hand corner. Once upon a time, not very long ago, there lived a princess on the edge of the earth. She lived in a lonely tower, not all by herself, but with a husband who did not love her much and had little time for her. But he would return every evening to make her nights darker and lonelier. The princess was kind and true-hearted. She was beautiful in her own way, and she liked nothing better than to sit by the windows of glass and look out onto the brightly lit world below her. If she looked long enough, she would see a young man walk by with a bouquet of blue roses to pause and knock at a little pink door. And out the door would come a pretty young woman, and the young man would give the roses to the young woman. With a flourish, and they would twirl around, and their arms entangled, their capes flying wildly out in a joyous circle, faster and faster and faster, till all the princess could see was a tornado of love, twisting ever upward, leaving two very blue roses behind on a moonlit pavement. Every night this dance, every night this ritual of love, and the princess would turn her sad face to the moon and say, "Moon, will you not marry me?" But the princess never said it to the river, because there had been many girls who had stood on the river's bank to say, "River, river, make me your bride," only to be swept under the swirling waters to become brides of the river forever. The people of the village said the water hyacinths were the children of the river and his bride. But the river was greedy and took a bride every year, sometimes two. And in the year that the river took two brides, the water hyacinths would cover the whole length of the placid waters of the river downstream. River babies, they called them, as they floated past, their fragile flower faces turned upwards, spreading over the azure waters and covering the river from the summer sun. Every evening the princess waited for her husband to return with a little love at least, for she knew she could learn to be happy even with that. But he had no time for unprofitable things like that. No time for the true-hearted princess who lived on the edge of the earth and looked out on the world as she faded away for want of love. Turning to the moon, she said beseechingly, "Moon, make me your bride," and climbed under the cold covers of a loveless bed when she could not bear to look upon the world bright with love any more. As she lay and dreamed of the moon, a rider called out, "It's time!" and rode the length of the dark skies, easily vaulting the great distance between the moon and the earth, striding eastward in giant bounds, east to where the kind and true princess lay quiet on the edge, deep in sleep. Horse hoofs touching the seas of the earth found that the waters did not give way, but held the weight of horse and rider effortlessly. In the tower the princess slept on, and while she lay sleeping and dreaming, the moon poured down buckets of moonbeams into her hair, her eyes, and her heart. And the rider entered her dream upon a moonbeam, and in a whisper, soft, tender, and true, he said, "It's time." This time more gently, for they were words for the princess' ears alone. Dream words to unlock the chains that had bound her dreams of love all these years. She did not wake up, but dreamed on of the rider with beautiful eyes, wherein she could see the stars of the night rising and filling the skies with love. And in her dreams she whispered back, "Yes," to the rider, yes to his star-bright eyes, yes to the expanse of the skies, deep with night clouds, heavy with love. Now the tower is empty and of the true princess, and the tower is no more lonely, for the princess has gone to live in the moon with the rider who came to make her his bride on a silver moon horse that can enter dreams to fulfill a true heart's longing. For a moon horse is not quite the same as an earth horse, because a moon horse will carry only a person who has not wished ill on anyone. So it bore back the kind princess, but no one else. And the princess is no more a princess now, but she is a queen of the moon, for she has become bride to the king of the moon, the king of love. And if you stand carefully at the edge of the earth and look up at the skies when they turn indigo, and look long enough, you will see tiny new stars twinkling slowly, star babies, the children of the moon queen and the moon king. Be sure to make a wish on a star baby when it floats by. A wish for love. Wishing you a very happy summer holiday and good health. Stay well.